Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. And this video is going to mainly be for a plasma cutter, but it could be used for a laser person in a different application. I'm going to try to make this video in two parts because I think it's going to be a little bit too long. But anyway, somebody wanted a fire screen, and this is what I ended up coming up with, and I'm going to weld expanded metal to the inside and put legs on it and handles on it. But they wanted to fit this shape, and really the only way I know how to do it is to take a photograph, take your parallel dimension tools, and make you some good measurements. And this particular one was actually 34.5, and but that's really close enough. So what you're going to do, you're going to measure that opening, and you're going to, let me get off this picture real quick so I can make that number bigger. And you need to know those dimensions. So you're going to take your photograph, and don't ever, use this handle or this handle, because it's going to stretch the photograph. If you use this handle, or you can actually use your percentages, which might even be better. But you just need the two measurements. You need that measurement, and then you need this measurement. And it was about like right in there. And I'm not going to pay too much attention to getting it right, but you need to be pretty dead on if you're going to do a good job of it. It was actually like 28.25, so I probably didn't do a real good of getting this line at the very bottom. But anyway, so then you would just, well, if it's a little bit too big or too little, you just take your proportion and add a percentage to it, or grab this handle and make it bigger or smaller until your measurements are correct. Then I'm going to take this. Let me make my well, my table's big enough. I'm going to put this, I've already kind of drawn it, I'm going to put it in the center. And everything's not going to be in the center because the picture's not perfect. But grab your outline and do that, and all you really need to do is close. So then what, probably the better way to make sure is take a rectangle, and if you know this measurement from here to here and this measurement, just make you a rectangle that size. So let me get rid of this one for a second. So you've got your rectangle, and this is, you've got your dimensions. So as long as your picture is close and you've got your dimension, then you're going to want to take your rectangle and turn it into curves. Grab both these nodes on this corner, and the way you would do that is just do like that. Convert them into curves. Now this is the tricky part, trying to get to the center of this to make your curve. Because if you're not in the center, it's going to be a little bit off shape. But there's a way around that. If you take now let's take our picture and get out of the way. So this is what we've got. Now this is pretty close, but if you make a duplicate with Control D and then swap it, you can see you're off a little bit. So let's get rid of our duplicate. And this is the way I would do it. Press P, make sure it's in the center of the page. Grab you an index bar, press P. Now your indexing line's in the center. And you probably didn't have to do that, but hit your control button with your straight line tool. I grab the freehand. Grab the 2-point line. Take your control button so it'll keep it parallel. Put it in the center of the screen. I'll tell you what, we'll take away the indexing line. We don't need it. Then what I would do is just take your virtual segment delete key, and delete this, and delete this, and then go ahead and delete this side. Then you can go ahead and delete your line. Make a duplicate of that. Control D. Mirror it. And then I would check off of it. I'd put your nudge factor to 1 inch. And then just cursor over. And you're pretty close. So you're not exactly. So let's make our nudge factor back to 0.001. Grab one side and slowly move it to your, I would maybe zoom in a little bit more on that crosshair. And I would go just past it so you can see the break, and then go back. Group all this together. And you would want to check your bottom too, but it's going to be right because you cut it parallel. Group all this together, and there's your shape. Now you can bring your picture back in, bring this back in, and you've got a better even shape of the process. Then I would just go up and check your dimensions, and I can't remember what they were, but I think it was 30 3/4, so you would, or 30 3/8, so you turn that to 30 3/8, and this was 34 1/4 or a half, so you could make that 34.5, and make this, I'm not going to take the time for the video, but anyway, now you've got your shape. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to show you how I did this. Hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching, and watch the next one.